JD here, and as you can see, we are back on F123. And it's been a minute since I've played online in this game. It's been a good 2 or 3 weeks, so these are actually my first couple of races that I did back online. And as always, if you'd like to be part of these lobbies, a guaranteed invite, then make sure you click the join button, become a YouTube member, join my Discord, because my members do get a priority access because the lobbies do fill up pretty quickly. Also, to let you know, I've actually opened up some more one-to-one coaching slots over at www.coachlimits.com. So if you'd like a direct one-to-one 90-minute session with me, then head over to there, because now there are plenty of slots available. But you can see by the title of this video, bit of a different one, and I've actually done videos like this quite a few times in the past. People like Syra, for Let's Say Surprise, Otis Lawrence, which is FRA Elite, normally have a bit of a knack of discovering some pretty good talents in the years I've been playing the F1 series. And in this lobby, and there was actually just more than these 2 races that I'm showing today, there was a guy in here which you'll be able to see in a second once I get round to him. We'll see him on the screen. Was just very, very fast. And no, please don't take this as an insult. If this guy already races in league racing or anything at all, normally I know most of the really, really fast guys on the game. This guy I've never heard of before, but is absolutely rapid. So if anyone does know who this person is down in the comments, please let me know, because I'm sure he does pretty well if he does do league racing. But so far, see, we actually turned off collisions off for lap 1. So a lot of people, my members, my YouTube members, requested it just because they were getting taken out quite a lot, which is a bit of the norm in the open lobbies. But unfortunately, due to this recent patch, there's been some glitches where on some tracks, even if you just disable it for lap 1, it will keep on doing it. But you can see after the first sector, it has come back, and it's actually this guy right up ahead of me, Sweet Nardo 17. Whoever this guy is very, very fast, and you can see CPI JB out in the lead. I think one of the fastest drivers on the PlayStation platform, if not the fastest driver over 1 lap pace on the PlayStation platform. As I'm not quite sure what's happening there, because the lobbies recently have been a little bit laggy since this last update. You can see, I think that was actually JB. So now we're going to have to try and stay with Sweet Nardo, who I think he was Italian, looking at his flag. I'm not sure if he actually is, but was very, very fast. And yeah, open lobbies, you do discover some new talents. So yeah, and he's on the PlayStation platform. I've never seen this guy before. Maybe he was running a different gamer tag, but yeah, normally you don't come across people as fast as this too often. So in this race here, we're just going to try and save it ERS as much as you can, but CPI Jamie behind is trying to get himself in second place, because that's the place you really need to be. In terms of my driving, I was a little bit rusty at this stage, still getting used to the game again after a couple of weeks out. But like I say to many people, I think sometimes it's actually a good thing to have a little bit of a break from something. It's quite easy to get caught up in the same muscle memory, and quite difficult to actually learn new things if you keep hammering them all the time. But right here now, we're just going to try and stay as close as we can to the leader. But Jamie behind, who I race with in the league, is someone who likes to use his ERS quite a bit. So unfortunately in this game, ERS is very powerful. So someone's using it behind, you're kind of forced to use it in order to keep that guy behind. But we've got the DRS on Sweet Nardo, and again, just trying not to use the battery, trying not to waste it too much, trying to get above 60% for this final lap, because then I'll be able to use pretty much the full deployment of that battery. So just go stay as close as we possibly can. Do this last sector, not too bad, because the traction he gets is very, very impressive. Go across the line, 27.0, fastest lap by CPI Jamie. So you got a little bit of a gap to the cars behind as well, and being nice and close here. Could have taken a bit more momentum for this corner, and doing this a little bit better than we did on the last lap, so I'm not really interested in overtaking so much on this lap. DRS is just very, very powerful, but yeah, Nardo, yeah, we're actually going to go for the overtake here, so ignoring my own advice because we were getting a little bit pressured by Jamie. So I think on my mind, I overtook him here, but then wanted to be re-overtaken going into the final DRS. So I had second place going into the last lap, so that was kind of the mind frame here, but otherwise Jamie could be putting a little bit of pressure on me, so yeah, I wasn't really too concerned about being overtaken here, but since Jamie is so close, we run the risk of being overtaken by both cars, so really crucial to get a good exit coming up here. Might have to use a bit of battery now, otherwise Jamie will be overtaking me. So are we using any of the battery? So no, we're just trying to squeeze it, but Jamie's going down the inside, so we have to go around the outside, and now we have to use a bit of battery to try and stay ahead of him. He tries to go around the outside, get the inside for here. That kind of complements our line, and that has allowed Swignardo to get a bit of a buffer going to this last lap, and I think he saved quite a bit of the ERS as well, so we've got to try and be as close as we can. So we don't want to overtake him in his first DRS zone, we want to save it for the final DRS straight, but the problem is I think we're quite equal on the ERS, and the ERS is just so powerful. Even with the DRS behind you, it's going to be very, very difficult to overtake, and you can see in the straight line not even making any inroads. So I'm going to save the battery for this second DRS zone, but the problem is he's got quite a bit of a nice gap, not driving to the absolute best of our ability right now, so using the ERS here, and we just got to hope he falls underneath this 10% battery going into this final straight. So going through to here, taking a little bit of a downshift, and yeah, we've only got about 20% of the battery, so 7 tenths to make up is going to be very, very difficult to do. Maggers and Beckett's not too bad here, but losing a little bit of time on the exit. You can see just not 100% confident through here. His red light is flashing now, but yeah, you can see the power of the DRS once he falls underneath at 10%. But unless he makes a mistake going to his final chicane, I think just that little issue we had going through this corner last lap, allowing him to get that 6-7 tenths as a result of him doing it and then come across the line. He's going to take the win here. We're going to come home in P2, and yeah, a very, very intense race. And you know, CPI Jamie is one of the fastest on the PlayStation platform. If someone's beaten him, then you know he is definitely very, very fast himself. So again, now we move to China here, starting in P6. So collisions off for lap 1 as requested by my members, which I don't really blame them, because I think with 20 people in the lobby, some people just don't really like to play fair that often. So you can see CPI Jamie is out in the lead here. Sweetnardo is up ahead of me in a Ferrari, which maybe does suggest he is Italian after all. And we just got to make sure we stay within the DRS zone of CPI Jamie, because once he's out of that DRS, it's going to be very, very difficult to stay within. And I don't think I actually have a specific setup for China, so I had to use kind of tweak another track and just hope it worked out for the best. So I knew this probably wasn't particularly optimal, but I'm just going to give it my absolute best anyway. And you can see these two guys are already way out into the lead, so really important to try and stay with them as much as I possibly can here now, and get a bit of a gauge whether they're running the low downforce or the high downforce. China's a track that isn't really done too often, but it used to be a personal favourite of mine in the past. But the problem is, I'm probably going to have to use a bit of battery here now, because collisions off lap 1, after sector 1, the collision's going back on. You don't want to be behind someone, so I can't afford to be in 4th place here. So I might have to use the battery to make sure I'm keeping myself in this 3rd place, because you can see in the Delta, there's a guy pretty much inside my car and taking a double stab at the steering wheel. That was really, really poor. So now we have to use quite a bit of the battery. It's really, really crucial that I stay ahead of this guy. So I think collisions is actually still turned off at this stage, but we've had to use quite a bit of that battery to make sure we stay in that 3rd place. So after this first sector, that's where the collisions then come back on. You can see a big snap of the oversteer. So again, means we'll have to use quite a bit more of the battery than necessary in order to keep with these two up ahead. And yeah, you can see we're down to 55, 56% of the battery, which is probably something you don't need. But I think I had a lot more straight line speed than two up ahead of me after looking at the delta on the straight. So yeah, these are the corners where I'm going to really be suffering a bit more. And you can see in the delta, just losing a little bit of time, but really crucial that I stay within the DRS zone at this point for the next lap. So I'm going to have to use probably quite a bit here. As you can see again, the traction they're picking up in the exit is very, very nice. So using the ERS here now and just constantly looking on the top left hand side of the screen, seeing if I'm gaining this time. And you can see how quickly the battery is going down as well. At the same time, you can see the straight line speed is very, very fast. So good on the straights, but probably going to be lacking in the corners. You can see we've got a nice 1.4 second gap to the cars behind as well. So really important to get a good run coming to here. And now let's try and save the battery as much as we possibly can. So 32.8. And this is the sector where we're going to be losing most of the time. So really crucial to just try and stay with these guys. Staying within that 1 second, absolutely essential for our race. Coming up through into here, the traction, this is where we're going to be punished ever so slightly. So are we going to use the battery? Nope, we're just going to try and stay within that detection point as we go on to the main straight. And coming through into here again, you can see in the delta just losing quite a bit of time. That Swignardo is actually putting a bit of a gap between himself and CPI Jamie, which, you know, if you're on a PlayStation platform and you're looking up the leaderboards from Time Trial, CPI Jamie is pretty much at the top at most of them. So for someone to gap him shows how fast this guy actually is. And, you know, he's almost broken out of his DRS zone. So unless he's got a set for the track or he's just an absolute beast around here, is putting us a little bit to shame right now. You can see how quickly we're putting away from the cars behind as well. So you can see in the delta, the gap is 1.8, 1.9 seconds. And we're going to get the DRS, but you can see we're 20% off the battery. But let's see how much we gain in a straight line as well. He's almost out the DRS zone of Jamie, but you can see we've gained quite a bit of time on this straight. Really crucial now that we get within this detection point because there's another DRS zone. So having to use the battery again, and we've pretty much almost run out of it here. We just don't have enough downforce even to keep any series. Now 31.9, so 6/10 faster without using the DRS or the ER, or we didn't have access to DRS, sorry. So that just shows the raw speed that this guy actually has. And right now for me, I just got to hope that these two maybe start battling, because I can't really afford to be using more of the battery. But I think we're just going to try and do everything we can here, keep using it just to try and stay within that DRS zone. And it looks like that Sweet Nando isn't pushing now, because he knows he's not going to get out the DRS of CPI Jamie. See the cars behind again, about 4 seconds, and then 7 seconds down to the guy in 5th. And the detection point here is going through the tight left-hander and then going to a long right-hander onto the back straight. Got to be within the DRS here, so using the battery just to get underneath that 1 second. So over-speeding into this one, just hoping that I can stay within that 1 second. And I believe I've just done it. That white line you saw going across the track, that is actually the detection point. So really important that I did that. Getting on the DRS here now, and you see again, we are gaining time in the straight line, so confirming we do have some really good straight line speed. These two are starting to battle, so this is actually exactly why I need him, but going in really, really deep into his corner. So element of rustiness here, using the battery, but I don't think we are going to be within that detection point. So we actually lost the DRS here now, and now we've got to hope that these two actually start battling quite a bit. So Swignardo is still in the lead of this race, so he hasn't had the benefit of DRS. So out of all of us, he should have the least amount of battery. See, just turning it too early, so not enough momentum going through that turn 1. So definitely need to optimize the setup. But let's see what happens between Jamie and Swignardo. And yeah, you can see again, no threat from behind here, and just doing everything I can to try and get back within this detection point. But I think it's going to be very difficult with the level of downforce that I have. So going completely foul for his left, carrying the speed into this right-hander. See, these two are coming really, really close together. See, Jamie's all over the back of him here, so getting a little bit of nerves here. And No, slowing each other down quite a bit, so we're going to get within this DRS zone, and I think all of us are quite low on the battery at this point during the race, so let's see what we can do going down this back straight, because I think none of these guys up ahead have much of the battery, so we're going to be just saving it just a little bit. And you can see Jamie has had that little bit of lag again, so unfortunately these lag spikes seem to be costing him. You can see how much more faster we are in a straight line, so we're not even going to overtake him. So he would have easily beaten us because of those lag spikes, so we're not even going to really fight for the second place. Coming around the last corner here now, coming home in P3, and yeah, whoever this guy is, this Sweet Nando, is one of the fastest guys I've ever seen, but have never even recognised before. So please let me know who he is, or if you're even watching this, please comment down below